Hi guys, in this video we shall learn about schools of Hindu law. There are two main schools of Hindu law, Mitakshara school and Dayabhaga school of Hindu law. Ancient sources of Hindu law include Shruti, Smritis, commentaries and digests, customs and doctrine of factum valid. Among the Smritis, Manusmriti, Narada Smriti and Yajnavalkya Smriti are famous. Due to the emergence of various commentaries on Smriti and Shruti, different schools of thoughts arose. The commentary in one part of the country varied from the commentary in the other parts of the country. So because of these differences, this Mitakshara school and Dayabhaga school emerged. The Yajnavalkya Smriti was commented by Vigneshwara, which has later become the Mitakshara school of Hindu law. And the same Yajnavalkya Smriti was also commented by 𝙃𝙞𝙣𝙙𝙪, which later became the Dayabhaga school of Hindu law. The Mitakshara school exists throughout India except in the state of Bengal and Assam. There are 4 sub-schools for this Mitakshara school. They are Dravida school, Maharashtra school, Banaras school, Mithila school. Dravida school exists in South India. It is also known as Madras school. This Maharashtra school exists in Mumbai. Banaras school exists in Orissa and Bihar. And Mithila school exists in Uttar Pradesh. Nowadays, under the Mitakshara school, there are 4 more sub-schools: Vyavakara, Mayukha, Nimaya and Sindhu schools. Let's see what are the main differences between Mitakshara school and Dayabhaga school of Hindu law. Mitakshara school, the Yajnavalkya Smriti was commented on by Vigneshwara, later became Mitakshara school of Hindu law, whereas the Yajnavalkya Smriti commented on by 𝙃𝙤𝙣𝙙𝙪, later became Dayabhaga school of Hindu law. Number 2, Mitakshara school exists throughout India except in the state of Bengal and Assam. But Dayabhaga school predominantly prevailed in Assam and West Bengal. Number 3, inheritance is based on the principle of propinquity in Mitakshara, that is, nearest in blood relationship will get the property. But in Dayabhaga, inheritance is based on the principle of pinda offering, that is the rice ball offering to deceased ancestors. Number 4, in Mitakshara, Sapinda relationship is of blood, whereas in Dayabhaga, Sapinda relationship is by Pinda offerings. Number 5, under the Mitakshara school, there is a right of birth. What is right of birth? The right of Hindu joint family property is by birth. So, a son immediately after birth gets the right to the property. Whereas in Dayabhaga, no right of birth. The right to Hindu joint family property is not by birth but only on the death of the father. That is, in Mitakshara, the system of devolution of property is by survivorship, but in Dayabhaga school, the system of devolution of property is by inheritance. Number 6, co-partnership arises between the father and sons even during the lifetime of the father. But in Dayabhaga, no co-partnership between the father and sons during the lifetime of the father. Number 7, in Mitakshara school of Hindu law, the share of co-partner in the joint family property is not definite or ascertainable. But under the Dayabhaga school, the legal heirs have definite shares. Number 8, alienation does not exist fully but only to a limited extent in Mitakshara school, whereas in Dayabhaga, the share of each co-partner being defined, it can be alienated. Number 9, a woman could never become a co-partner under the Mitakshara school, whereas under the Dayabhaga school, on the death of her husband, the widow becomes a co-partner with the other brothers of the husband and she can enforce partition of her share. Right to partition is there in Mitakshara school. The son can institute a suit for partition even against his father, whereas in Dayabhaga, no right to partition. The son does not have a right to partition against the father. So in Mitakshara, there is right of birth and right to partition. But in Dayabhaga, no right of birth, no right of partition. Number 11. The system of devolution of property is survivorship. The system of devolution of property is by inheritance in Dayabhaga. We already discussed that. Number 12. The manager need not give the account for past management under Mitakshara school, whereas under Dayabhaga school, the manager is bound to give account of his past management of the property.